Alright guys, so I am not going to lie to you, I am pretty excited for this brand new game mode coming out to Dragon Ball Legends called Rating Match Proud Mode. Now this is the perfect game mode, and it's honestly guys, it's something they should have done a long time ago. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about the release date for this, which is actually a lot closer than you guys think, as well as current team build for this game mode, because this game mode, you really have to strategize yourself to build a correct team to go far. And I'm going to show you guys exactly which teams you guys should be using, and also reading your guys' comments as well, because I love to interact with you guys. But let's not waste any time. And by the way, if you guys do find this video helpful, make sure you guys simply just like and subscribe, because you know why not? It's for free, and I hope you guys hear everything Dragon Ball Legends. So really quick, just a very brief explanation of how this game mode works. Very self-explanatory. It's a best out of 3 match. Okay, so you obviously have to win a best out of 3. So if you win the first 2 matches, then the match is over. If you win 1 and your opponent wins 1, then it goes to a final death match. Now, there are some certain rules for this game mode. I'm gonna quickly brief you guys in before we get to the teams you guys should be bringing in. So it's very self-explanatory. You have a team of 6. For the first round, you have to bring in at least 3 characters like you would in a normal match. And then let's just say you win and your opponent loses. It goes to the second match. But you have to actually bring in the remaining 3 characters you did not originally bring in for round 1. So this is going to be a very tricky game mode and strategize, especially because you're not going to know what your opponent's going to bring in, and your opponent's not going to know what you're going to bring in for the first round. So it's going to be very tricky. So yes, and let's just say you win the first round, your opponent wins the second. It goes to a final death match called Pride Mode. And in this mode, you have to at least bring in 1 character from round 1 and 1 character from round 2. So you guys have to be smart what you bring in for both rounds if it does indeed go to the final death match called Pride Match, right? So it's such a cool idea, man. I cannot wait for this. Now, this should be coming out this upcoming weekly reset here on the 21st, because the current PvP ends right now on the weekly resets, and they did say this is going to come out in February, so it only makes sense for this to come out in just about a couple days from now, guys. This upcoming weekly reset on the 21st of February. Now, they did say that this is going to be a preseason version just to kind of test out the waters and then make adjustments from there in a regular seasons after that. Now, it's not going to replace the current rating matches we have right now. They're just going to bring it out occasionally, kind of like Battle Royale in a way, but in a replacement format for the regular rating matches we have. So let's not waste any time, guys. That was a quick little brief in. Now let's talk about the teams, okay? There is a ton of interesting builds. Let me quickly just start off with, before we get to your comments, because I posted this on X over on Twitter, and I got 200 comments, so I'm going to be taking a look at your teams. But let me just quickly talk about there's a lot of good teams, okay? But let's talk about a current team that I'm going to be using just because, or at least testing out, just because of a specific strategy I'm going with, okay? And it's going to be sagas from the movies. Now, this is a deep tag, okay? Now, why this is so good besides the obvious of it having a lot of good characters. For example, we got Red Beast Gohan, we got Ultra Janemba, so that's already blue. We also got Beast Gohan, the old one as well. We got Gamma 1 and 2. Even the Dragon Ball GT Kid Goku is pretty good too. And then what's really interesting about this team here is the fact that we got 2 revival characters in Pikkon and Gogeta, as well as Orange Piccolo, okay? Now, why this is so good is because you can interswap round 1 and round 2 with one of these characters. And then, of course, in the final matchup, you can choose one of these characters, which would probably be Pikkon and Gogeta if it does go to the final round. But both rounds, you got a good Nucleus revival character for defense. That is my strategy behind this. For example, for round 1, let's just say you go with Beast Gohan, you go with, Orange Piccolo, and then you go with the other blue Beast Gohan, right? So that's blue, red, and green. And then for the second match, you could bring in another blue Janemba, and you could probably bring in Gamma 1 and 2, and then you can interswap with Pikkon and Gogeta, so you also have a good defensive character. And there's also a pretty, Pan is still usable. She's really good too. So this is a very, and Gotenks, Fat Gotenks is another one. This is a very good team, man. It really is. It's just a deep team. It's what it is, right? It's a deep, deep team. So, and another thing really quick just to mention to you guys, the leader slot is not going to be used. It's not going to be as effective as it would be for the regular rating matches. The reason being why is pretty self-explanatory, because the leader slot, if you're planning, let's just say, on using an androids team and then you slap on a random regen character on, well, that kind of makes sense if you're using Perfect Cell because he's both. But you guys get what I'm saying, right? If you're relying on the leader slot, one of the rounds, you're not going to get the buff for the leader slot, because to get the buff for the leader slot, you have to bring in the character. So one of the rounds, you're going to be losing a Z ability. And the issue with that is that Zenkais are not going to be that usable as well, unless you're LF Zenkais. Because, for example, you can't just bring in an old... let me use androids as an example. You can't bring in Android 21 as your bench, even though she's a good Zenkai, right? She has a good base health Z ability, and she buffs Perfect Cell. You can't bring her in. The reason being why is pretty self-explanatory, because you're gonna have to bring in her. You're gonna have to bring her in a match, whether it be round 1 or 2, and she's not good besides her Zenkai Z ability and her normal Z ability. So characters like this you cannot bring in. Characters. On the other hand, there's also good Zenkai characters. For example, we have Ultra Jiren, which is really good. You can bring him in, and he also buffs, with his Zenkai Z ability. So the Zenkais and the leader slots are going to be quite tricky and not that valuable. Okay. Now, really quick, let's just get to some of your guys' teams. This guy here, he said Universe Rep. Yes, Universe Rep is going to be apps. This team here, except I would switch one thing. I would replace either this Golden Frieza, or B, this Revival Goku for a red character, because I think red character is going to be very valuable, just because you're going to be seeing a lot of UI Gokus because of Saiyans as well. So maybe you could replace an Ultra Hit into the mix here. Ultra Hit's still pretty good. He's not bad whatsoever. He's still got a broken green card. Obviously, he stops time. So, I mean, yeah, honestly, I would use this team here, except I would sneak in Ultra Hit for a full color wheel. That's something I would personally do. Mono green girls. No, don't use that. Do not use mono green girls. Androids. Okay, so androids is pretty obvious. They're getting buffed. They got the perfect color wheel. Honestly, the first 5 characters you see here in Super 17, we got TOP Android 17, we got Gamma 1 and 2, the brand new Android 16, which is great, better than Super Vegeta, which is crazy, right? And we got, of course, the purple Perfect Cell, the latest one. And then for the final slot here, what you guys can do is you could bring in this Zenkai Perfect Cell, which is pretty underrated, or you guys can bring in the purple GT, Android 17, right? Let me just show you guys really quick. This one right here. So you guys can bring in this one as well, right? And also Android 8 is pretty good too. So you could do that. You could get kind of creative. So Android is really good too. GT is another great one. Honestly, GT just got buffed. It's probably going to be one of the most used teams. Of course, just Super 17, this GT's Per Bomb Kid Goku. We got Zenkai, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. And then, of course, we got Bola and Vegeta Assist. And we got, for yellow, we got Pan, Trunks, and Giru, which is pretty good. And then for the final slot, you could bring in this Hellfighter 17. You could get kind of creative. Even this free-to-play Super 17 is pretty okay. But I would bring in your worst units for the final round, or at least for the second round. Try to win the first round as much as you can, because the reason being why is because if you lose, if you bring in your best characters, or if you bring in what you think is your best characters for the first round and you lose, now you got to bring in your worst characters for the second round, which obviously is not going to be a good look, because you're at a technically disadvantage, because it's the characters you're not looking forward to, right? And you also have to think about round 3 in case it does go to round 3, because and that's what I mentioned about sagas. Having Piccone and Gogeta and Orange Piccolo switching in for round 1 and 2 is great. It's like a great synergy for round 1, 2, and 3, because you get to bring in both characters there. So yes, this team here is something to definitely take a look at. Saiyans is another one as well, guys. I mean, Saiyans is absolutely stacked. Ultra UI Goku. We got the GT's Per Bomb Kid Goku. We got Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, right? That's already basically the 2 latest GT units. We got Goku and Bardock. We got Piccone and Gogeta. Saiyans might be the best character. I mean, the best team, honestly. Even this yellow Zenkai Bardock is pretty good. The Revival Goku is pretty good. Super Vegeta, right? We got 8 Vegeta as well. So you're going to be seeing a lot of Saiyans. You're going to be seeing a lot of Androids, Universe Rep, GT, and perhaps Sagas. Those are all the teams you guys are probably going to be seeing. Perhaps maybe some Fusion Warriors are mixed into the mix as well. But But yeah, Vegeta Clan is another fun team, I guess. Let's see here. Yeah, Fusion Warriors. The guys using a Fusion Warrior team, pretty good. Obviously, you know, overall, just a little bit low stars on that character right there, but pretty good. Androids. This team doesn't make too much sense, but you guys get the point. The teams I just named out, once again, recap: Saiyans, GT, Androids, and Sagas, and Universe Rep. Powerful opponents is pretty deep as well if you mix it in with regions somehow, but the leader slot cannot be used, you know, to your full advantage because one of the rounds you're going to be missing out on the leader slot. So be careful what you mix. And yeah, man, I'm pretty excited for this game mode. I really, really am. Once again, it should be coming out this upcoming weekly reset because, of course, they did say it's going to come out on February. And this current season ends right now, this weekly reset. So it makes perfect sense for this to come out in just a few days. But yeah, guys, if you found this guide helpful, share it to your friends so you can help them as well. But if you guys did enjoy the video, as always, make sure you guys simply just like and subscribe. And I'll definitely catch you guys once again on the next one. Have a good one. Peace.